Dang, is it already going? Usually it gives us a countdown. No
Yeah.
countdown this time. It's just like, boom, here you go.
Hey, I'm
Welcome.
Brian Marsolais, and this is Ron Carter.
And we're on episode 30 something of this podcast, but I guess we're still figuring this out. Just shows that you
Yeah,
don't have
well,
to have things perfect.
and just a big shout out to Ron. Happy 40th birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right on.
40 feels crazy, dude.
Yeah, wait till you get to
40?
60, my man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something before we talk about your 40th. I just want to tell you, as the years go on now, like 40 to 50, it's going to feel like lightning compared to what 30 to 40 did.
That's
And it's
encouraging. Thank
it's
you.
the weirdest thing, but 50 to 60 is twice as fast as that. That's a true story. Ask your elders.
Well, I can only imagine. I mean, because I already know what it's like to go from 0 to 10. That took forever. I remember that. It took forever. 10 to 20 still took a very long time. 20 to 30, not so, it was a lot faster. 30 to 40, I mean, faster, wait, it just keeps going faster and faster. Cool thing is, like, I sat back and actually thought about this once, and I was like, why does that happen? And it's not like time isn't actually ticking faster, you know? It's just that, okay, it's the same as this. If I have $0, $10 seems like a lot of money. If I have no money and then somebody's like, boom, here's $10. It's like, dang, that was a lot compared to what I had before. And
Mm.
then you give me 10 more dollars, I'm like, okay, now I have 20. It doesn't seem like as big of a jump. Yes, like my money doubled compared to going from 0 to 10. That was like a lot, you know? And it's like then they give me 10 more dollars. I guess a better analogy is if I use like 10,000 instead of 10, because what are you going to do with $10, right? But if I go from $0 to 10 grand, that jump feels like, oh, especially if you're used to getting like $1,000 here and there and barely even getting paid in like making ends meet, always paycheck to paycheck. Then you get a check for 10 grand. It's like, whoa, feels like a big jump. Then you get another check for 10 grand later. It's like, yeah, this is cool, but it doesn't feel like as big of a jump as the other one. And
Yeah,
like,
what
let's
you
say you
say.
have like 30 grand and then you get another check for 10 grand. You're like, okay, now I have 40. It's like the change doesn't seem as big, even though it's the same number. And I think it's the same thing that's happening with age, where it's like I've already experienced, like by the time I turned 30, I had 30 years of experience of experiencing life and time. And so 10 years compared to that 30 seems a lot shorter than than my initial 10 years when I was only a day old, and then
Yeah.
I was 2 days old, and then I was 2 years old, 3 years old. That 10 years seemed like took a long time.
Oh, that's exactly spot on. I remember asking my sister, my older sister, I said, what's up with that? And then she called me one day and she says, hey, you know what? I just read this article that said time does go by faster when you get older because, right? Because everything is new. And when you're first, the first years of your life, everything is new. So your curiosity, like, you look at the clouds. Oh, look, and you remember that? You look at the clouds. Oh, it's a shape of an elephant or it's a shape of, and then when you get
Yeah.
older, right, you stop doing that. You just look at oh yeah, that's just the sky, right? Some clouds and that's the thing. That's the way it is with everything. Like your your brain has already um, looked at looked at it, diagnosed it, and now you don't need to do that anymore.
Mhm.
So you just go on to something else.
Right. And I think it's not that like that time actually goes faster, because it doesn't. It's just our perception of it. There's a difference
Yeah.
between time actually going faster. Because if time was actually going faster, then you would see ants running around like at super speeds on the ground. Like everything, trees would grow and wilt faster, and
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
lifespans of your pets would be shorter. And time's not actually going faster. It's just our perception of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Our our movie, our personal movie is going
right.
faster.
And which one could argue is actually more important than what's actually going on out there, because I
Yeah.
live my life through my perception of life. I don't live my life through what's going on out there. It's through how I perceive it, you know?
Yeah. Sure. And the interesting thing is just because I'm 20 years your senior. So the funny thing about it is things that you are digging your claws into, I've already been there.
Like
Like right
what?
now you're
Give me an example.
well, investments, right? Real estate
Yeah.
investments. And you're like, oh, hey, how can I get to another level, right? Another financial level. And I've been there, and the years that went by when I'm actually thinking, oh, I gotta make money, gotta make everything was like money driven. Now everything in my life is time driven. You know what I mean? Because you can always make money, but you can't make the time. So to me, time is probably a little more important, but maybe not. I don't know. You're a pretty put together guy already for your age, that's for sure.
Excuse me. I think it oh man. By the way, officially quit vaping
Get
yesterday
out of here.
on my
This is hey, so
40th
this is huge. What day did this happen?
January 20th.
Good for you, brother. I
So
was
it's the
about to get
27th
on.
today. It's a day, but still, if you're hearing that cough, it's like, all right, it's going to get better. It actually has already gotten better since yesterday.
Yeah, because I was gonna show up in California and outrun
Kick my
you,
ass
and that'd be pretty
or outrun me.
embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
In front of your girlfriend.
Too. I had to quit, man, because it was like the cough had gotten so bad. This was like on the night of my birthday that like I woke up in the middle of the night just like wheezing and coughing so hard, and I couldn't fall back asleep. It was like 4 in the morning. And
Yeah.
and I knew it was from that. And then when I got up in the morning, it felt better. Like I wasn't wheezing and I wasn't really coughing. And then my instant reaction, like I woke up and I was like, oh, my lungs feel better. I was like, want to grab the vape. And I went to grab it and I hit it. And then I just coughed a whole bunch again. And then I was like, oh, I need to put this down. I need to like regulate this, not do it as much. And then I put it in a drawer so it was out of sight. And and then I noticed I would be thinking about it when it's in the drawer, and I'm like, no, it's in the drawer, so you don't think about it. And then like hours would go by, and I'm like, oh, it's been hours now, so I can have it again. And then I'd have it and cough a whole bunch, and I was like, this, from my past, I'm like, this behavior seems really familiar, you know. And I was
That's
like,
great, man.
and then last night, I'd only done that like maybe 3 or 4 times throughout the day, as opposed to just having it in my pocket and hitting it whenever I wanted without thinking about it, like normally. But still, last night I was trying to eat dinner and I was like coughing a bunch. So actually, what I was doing is it was right before dinner. I was doing some 12-step work with one of the guys that I sponsor in recovery, and we were reading out of the book, and we were doing this work together, and we were reading out loud, and we were on Zoom, and I was having to take coughing breaks from like reading out loud.
Wow.
And I was like, I wasn't even hitting the vape then. And it was just like, this is just what's happening. And I was wheezing again like I was the night before. I was like, okay, like you need to just throw this thing away. And as soon as the Zoom was over, I just went to the trash can and just tossed it and was like, fuck this. Like this
This is
is
great
fucking your
news.
lungs up, you know? And
Yeah.
I made it through the day. You know, I have some nicotine gum, but that's what I'm chewing right now. But I would much rather chew nicotine gum all day than be destroying my lungs like that, you know?
Yeah. Great point. I don't know a lot about vaping. From what I have heard, it is pretty dangerous for you.
Yeah,
You know, it's not like the cure for smoking cigarettes.
no. See, here's the thing with it. If you vape like how it was intended when it was created, then yeah, probably not so bad. And here's how it was intended, right? It was intended for someone who is smoking a lot of cigarettes, highly addicted to cigarettes already, and they don't want to smoke cigarettes. But it's like, usually if you're highly addicted to cigarettes, you're only going out and smoking like a cigarette maybe once an hour, you know,
Yeah.
maybe once every 40 minutes if it's real bad, but you go outside, you stop everything that you're doing, and you go outside somewhere where it's acceptable to do that at. And then while you're doing it, you're just smoking a cigarette, maybe you're on your phone, and you get done and you go back inside or back to whatever it was that you were doing, right? And so the thing with vaping, if it was meant to replace that,
Right.
and you go out, you take it, you hit maybe once, two times, put it away, and then you go back
Yeah.
to your life. But because there's not the smell and all the other, like, the negative things other than what smoking does, to your body, there's not like the smell, the aroma, the lingering. With vaping, you can do it inside, and it doesn't affect the environment inside. Like, you don't walk into a house where somebody vapes, and you don't walk in there and be like you would somebody who's smoking cigarettes in their living room, you know? And so because of that, this is at
Yeah.
least what happened to me and what I've seen happen with a lot of other people. Because of that, I end up hitting this thing way more than I would ever even smoke cigarettes. Like every 10 minutes, I'm like, I hit it a couple times, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times, and I put it away. 10 minutes later, I do it again. Way more than I was smoking cigarettes, because I don't have to stop what I'm doing to go outside to do it. Just do it. As long as I'm not in a public place inside somewhere, I could do it
Yeah. Yeah.
wherever I'm
Yeah.
at. I could do it in my
I can.
car. I could do it in my house. I could do it in my bathroom. I could do it in my
Yeah.
bed. I could reach
Definitely.
over, grab it off my nightstand, and do it when I wake up in the middle of the night and put it back down.
Yeah. I can see a couple real good things about that. Everything you said, less fires from people falling asleep with cigarettes,
Yeah,
but there's
but
still a
some really
ton of
bad things.
smoke. Right. Yeah. There's still a ton of smoke from it, right? When people exhale.
Yeah, it's water vapor. It's not smoke. But here's the
Yeah.
thing: it's not just water vapor,
Right. Right. I mean,
because you
I've
have
literally have pulled up at red lights, right? And the dude will unroll his window and all the smoke comes out, or vapor, right? Vape. And I'm like, holy shit, the dude's smoking a bong. You know
and
what a
he's
bong
got
is,
this.
right, Ron?
Yeah,
That's, yeah,
of
good.
course, dude. I'm sober now. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been that guy many years ago
Oh, that's
that
funny.
actually did have a bong. But anyways, so yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's also heavy metals from the igniter
Yeah.
that ignites the fluid. And one of the things that I looked up, because at first I was like, it's just water vapor. It doesn't hurt your lungs at all. It's like, it's good for you. But here's the thing: no one really knows. No one really knows. No one has vaped their entire life and then died, and then would us be able to actually autopsy and see what was going on there.
I think
It hasn't happened yet.
there are things coming out though that I
Yeah,
believe that, because my girlfriend's son was vaping like crazy. Of course, a mom, she figured out all these articles that said how bad vaping was. It's destroying, from the chemicals and all this other stuff. I wasn't really listening to what she was telling them, but
this is one thing that I found. Not Jordan's. Oh, you can't see my screen. I'm going to show you what I'm pulling up here. And this is what I think was starting to develop in me, and why I was like, okay, we got to stop this right now. So yeah, not Jordan's, but
those are pretty cool.
I do like those. Let's see what's going on here. Highlight. My computer's acting funny. There we go. Same thing happened. I shared my screen before we were recording, and it's like the keyboard wouldn't work. And it took a while for it to work. And maybe that's going on again. Let's see. Yeah. You can see the last things that I was Googling, right? How long does it take for shortness of breath to go away after quitting vaping? This was like last night when I was like, oh my God, can't freaking breathe.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So 3 months
3 months,
after
right?
quitting. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, one of the things really that really is bad is like vaping can cause popcorn lung. Have you heard of that?
You know what? I think that's one of the things that she had mentioned too to her son. Popcorn lung does not sound good to me.
I don't know what's going on with my keyboard here. It's weird. Everything
Hmm.
was working fine until we started recording. Um, it might just take a second. There we go.
It's a test to see if you'll reach for the vape.
Yeah, well, it's in the trash can, so.
Popcorn lung.
And
Boy.
the thing with this is it's a rare lung disease that causes inflammation and scarring of the small airways in the lungs. This inflammation leads to narrowing of the airways, making it difficult to breathe. And the problem with this is, I'll pull up this picture so you can see. Can you see right here on the right?
Yeah. Yep.
So this is a healthy bronchial, right? The little tubes that, are inside of your lungs that, air goes through and then goes into the actual lungs and then into your bloodstream. And this is what it's like when you have popcorn lungs. It's just a lot smaller. And the thing with it is, once you have popcorn lung, like officially, there's no cure for it. You can just mitigate and try to manage the symptoms.
No way. So once you get popcorn lung,
You're
you
fucked, pretty
it's
much.
not reversible. It's not
Exactly.
like holy Jesus.
And when I saw that, I was like, because I was having trouble breathing like the other day and over the weekend, and the way that what it felt like is, I had asthma growing up, and I kind of grew out of it. Like I stopped needing an inhaler, and what it felt like was when I was like on the verge of having an asthma attack when I was young, where it's like I breathe, but for whatever reason, it feels like I'm not getting air. Like I'm like I'd have to take super deep breaths to feel like I was getting a normal amount of air. And so I was like, okay, like you can't fuck up your lungs. You don't get this is the only ones you got.
Yeah, good. That's a good decision right there.
Yeah.
I'm not a plumber, but that popcorn lung did not look good.
Yeah. Not a plumber. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe this. No, like, smoking, I think smoking, if you're smoking like, cigarettes, I think that your lung can cure itself over time, but I'm not positive.
Depends on of what. I guess popcorn lung, it's been around for a while, right? But the thing is, I think that they think that really what causes the popcorn lung, like, 'cause there's a difference. Like when you're smoking cigarettes, you have like the carcinogens from the stuff that's burning, from the tobacco burning, and the tar that's being deposited from the smoke in your lungs.
Mm,
And that causes a lot of like cancer, right? Emphysema, COPD, things like that. But the main thing with vaping is there's not tar being deposited in your lungs when you're vaping. But what's actually happening is you're getting heavy metals. Because a lot of times the vape has heavy metals in it from the battery that's burning and causing the fluid to burn. And you're getting doused with chemicals that are in the water vapor for the flavoring. It's not the actual
yeah.
nicotine. It's the flavoring and it's the burn. It's still the thing burning, but the chemicals and the heavy metals. From what I read on the internet, I'm not an expert at this. I just know how to use Google. By the way, if any of you guys are watching and you have a problem with what I'm
Yeah.
saying, this is straight from Google. It means other people said this, and I was like, okay. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, I know, again, I know people who smoke forever, it seemed like, and no problem at all.
they stopped though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. And
Yeah.
the truth of it is they probably had an episode like you did. Now, I also have a friend who's a respiratory doctor, and he was telling me if you're a heavy smoker and you smoke for 25 years, you are going to be on oxygen 100%. He's like, I'm not talking 98%, you're going to be on oxygen 100% if you smoke heavy for 25 years. No question about it.
Mm,
So I don't know, but that would be a bummer.
yeah. That's almost me. I started smoking 24 years ago. I stopped smoking 4 years ago, but I started vaping instead. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, So
Friggin' wrong.
maybe
You just
I
got
maybe I stopped just in time to not need the oxygen. I'm 24
man.
years, right?
You're good, man. Thank God. Thank God you did when you did it.
Yeah,
You know, I can see you surfing with an oxygen thing on your back.
yeah. I can't. That's not happening. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not envisioning that. We're not creating that future.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want to. We don't want to visualize bad shit. Only good shit. So that's good. So you're feeling better. You're
Feeling better
feeling
than
better.
yesterday, for sure. Even though you still hear me cough every now and then,
Yeah.
it's much better.
How's your support system? Are they? Is there? Are there any smokers like that you're close to? Or
I know a lot of people who vape, who still do. I know other people who quit. I mean, I'm in recovery, so there's a lot of people that vape, and then there's a lot of people that quit doing that too. You
doesn't
know,
affect you at all? Like if your girlfriend was a vapor. I'm
she
not
does
saying she
vape.
is. Oh, she does. Is
Yep.
she quitting?
I mean, I don't know. She said she
Right.
would, but like I got up. I just told her I didn't need to. This is the same thing that happened to me when I got sober. It's like once I decided like this is what I'm doing. It wasn't like
That's
I
yeah.
need like we're gonna do this together. It's like no, like all I did is I pulled my vape out because we had the same kind and they use the same kind of juice, and there's still vape juice sitting around the house because she still has hers. This is a vape juice thing we keep it here in the
Yep.
office, you know, whatever. And I just asked her like, hey, did you want this like so you can have an extra one? And she's like, no, I don't. And I was like, okay, because I'm gonna throw it away. So if you don't want me to throw it away, let me know. I'll give it to you. And she's like, nope. And I was just like, I took it apart, threw it in the trash can. Good riddance. She still has hers. She hits her vape a lot less than I do. I'll say that than I
Yeah.
would mine. So she's not experiencing any of this stuff.
Hmm.
And she's like, I think I might quit with you. And I was like, no, if you want to, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. It's not going to bother me. Like
Good. Yeah, you
this
got a
is
pretty
what I'm
strong.
doing.
You've got that. You've got that strong willpower. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad you finally said,
You've been
"Hey, I
telling
don't
me
need this
for
shit.
over a year. You've
I
been
don't
hitting
need this
at it.
stuff." Yeah. Yeah. Hey, the ride's short enough. We don't want to make it shorter with
Yeah,
popcorn.
yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, I mean, and yeah, there's times that I felt like I wanted to hit my vape today, especially like I was driving to school. It's an hour drive there, hour drive back. And so during that time, it's like, oh, like this is when I would. It's not like I really wanted it. It was just like a reflex because this is when I would normally be hitting it, you know. And I was like, I don't have the thing to reach for right now. And it's like, well, pop another piece of gum in, chill out, and then
Yeah.
like I would forget about it, you know, after a couple minutes. And
Well,
so
I think what it is, when people say, "Oh, smoking relaxes me." Well, it's not that it relaxes you. It's just that big inhale you take is what's relaxing you, I think. Right?
I think,
I don't think nicotine relaxes you.
well,
Maybe it does.
it does if you're addicted to it and you're starting nicotine withdrawal because there's a physical withdrawal for nicotine. Lasts about
Sure.
3 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, if your body feels like it needs nicotine and you don't have it, and then you have some, you feel relaxed when
Yeah.
you get
I
it.
mean, I get it. I
It
just
doesn't
quit.
mean it relaxes you.
Yeah. I mean, I just quit sugar just to try to all right, I want to see what it feels like. I want to drop some pounds.
Yeah.
But sugar's a killer, man. But it's addictive. Sugar's addicting.
Are you quitting when you say that you're quitting? You just quit sugar. How long has that been going on for? Decision.
So, like January 1st, I stopped
Okay.
having sugar. And
And
I cheated one day through all that.
is this
And
sugar in all forms, or like I just want to get clear? Like,
yeah,
when you
yeah.
say quit
So
sugar, what do you mean?
like like I never have sugar like, you put in coffee. I'm just talking about sugar on the label. Zero sugar is my friend. One sugar is not my friend.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay. So like you're not gonna get, a chocolate bar, right? You can't
Yeah,
do
of
that. You
course.
can't there's a lot of drinks you can't, drink. It's kind of you can eat meat, stuff like that.
Basically meat, vegetables, and there's certain kinds of carbs like farro and noodles and things
Yeah.
like that, depending on how strict you are on it.
Yeah, exactly. So I just quit for myself just because I'm trying to get to a certain weight. So I since then, right, since the 2nd of January, just quitting sugar, nothing else. Not like I'm slowing down eating, just quality of food's a lot better because now you're getting rid of all the processed shit and you're getting rid of the sugar. I dropped 14 pounds like nothing,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
you know?
crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know, but it's addicting. These things that I love are addicting. It sucks. But here we are, right? Here we are.
Yeah. I've dropped a little bit of weight since New Year's too. Probably about like I think 5 or 6 pounds or something like that. But it's from doing the same thing. Now I haven't restricted sugar totally, but
Yeah.
my girlfriend has. And so that has affected what she's cooking. And
Which,
so
yeah,
and whatever she's cooking, I'm having too.
yeah,
And so sometimes I go out, I'm like, well, you're the one on the diet, so I'm going to go out today. This is like my lunch. We're not even eating together anyway, so I'm going to go get something that I want, you know,
yeah,
and then I
yeah,
go do it. But, she's had a bigger transformation because she's obviously following this thing that she's doing. But it's just all like natural food. She's doing like no sugar, no bread. Even
yeah,
like she made pasta a couple times, but was using like cauliflower pasta instead of like no like white or wheat bread, things like
yeah.
that, and no
No
sugars.
whites, no bread. And you know what? You know what else I noticed through it? I'm not as hungry as I used to be. Like, I used to be like, I'd be like, wow, I'm freaking hungry. I'm like, wow, you just ate an hour ago. How can you be hungry? It's weird, but it's the truth. I'm not as hungry as I used to be.
Have you ever heard this thing where like your gut flora? I think I heard this on Joe Rogan's podcast at some point in time years ago, where it's like I can't remember who said it, but I think it was from there. Like the different bacteria in your gut actually dictate what you crave as far as food. Like if you've been eating a bunch of like crap food that's not good, a lot of sugars, a lot of fat, processed stuff, then the bacteria in your gut, there's a lot of different bacteria in your gut, right? And
Mm,
so there's certain ones that really like all that shit food, and then there's other bacteria that really like the good food, right? That's actually good for us and natural and not processed and not sugars. It's kind of like that story of two wolves. It's like whichever one you feed is the one that grows more, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so like that's what happens in your gut too with these different bacteria. And so, but because the bacteria in your gut, it's like they're a part of you. And so if you keep feeding the bacteria that really likes all the crap and all the trans fats and all the sugars and all the greasy goodness that we just tend to like, right?
yeah, yeah,
Well, those bacteria, that population explodes in your gut, right? It's just growing out of control. And that bacteria will literally send a signal to your brain through your stomach saying, we want more of that. And then you experience that like, man, I could really go for another slice of pizza, even though I know I just ate an hour ago, but we do have that frozen Rouse in that Rouse pizza in the freezer.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
I could just pop it in the oven. I wouldn't even have to do anything. I could pop that in the oven and just watch TV for 30 minutes. And then you just get up and go do it. And you have this craving for like, oh, now I really want some ice cream. And really it's this bacteria in your gut that's like, feed me more. And
man,
once you
the bad
starve it out,
bacteria winning.
yeah, once you starve it out, then the population starts to die down. And then what do you know? You don't have all these crazy cravings anymore.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of truth to that. Just because, you know, that's what I'm experiencing.
Yeah, you're actually experiencing like you being hungry.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen as often as you thought it did.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I think a lot of it is like you're not even hungry, but that bad bacteria is kicking some butt and saying, "Hey, get some shit. Let's eat."
Yeah, and also like couple that with the reward system of like our body's natural reward system where it's like, you eat a bunch of sugar and fat and it kicks off a bunch of endorphins, you know, in your brain. And then it's like we like those things, you know? Like
Yeah,
endorphins always feel good, but something that I learned is like if when I get endorphins from not doing any work, it always leads to bad results. If I'm like, I don't have to do anything and then I get endorphins, it's like that's how I ended up strung out on drugs, and it led to really bad
Uh,
results. And it's
huh.
like, but when I get endorphins from doing work, what ends up happening, like if I go surfing, like I didn't know this, so I started. It's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
I'm out there for 2 hours and burning like 1,500 calories, and I'm only riding a wave for like 1.5 minutes out of the whole 2 hours I'm out there. I'm just out there working the whole time, most of it.
Huh.
But the endorphins that I get during that time, what it does is it makes it so that I overlook all the work. I'm like, I don't even care about all the work, but I just like that 1.5 minutes that I get of actual wave time where I'm actually riding a wave. And so the endorphins that I get from that actually set me up in the future to be willing to do that work again. And that leads me to having, better physique, being healthier. Same stuff with going to the gym. I take a protein shake when I get back and I love it. It's like really good protein, and I put some dehydrated peanut butter in there, and I use banana almond milk. It's almond milk with blended up bananas in it, and so the only sugar comes from the bananas, and it's good.
Yeah.
It tastes like a banana chocolate peanut butter shake, and
Sounds pretty good.
it is really good. But it's actually good for me. And when I first started working out again, I would go to the gym just so I can come home and drink that shake because I wasn't about to just make that as a snack,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But now I get those endorphins that I got from the shake just from knowing I'm starting that routine. Like, okay, I'm on my way to the gym. The endorphins already start, and I'm happy just to go. But it started off with I wouldn't get those until I was having the shake after. So working for endorphins, good. Not working for them, bad. I guess
Not
that's
so
the
good.
moral of the
Not
story.
not earning your endorphins. If you
Yeah.
don't earn them, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. Time to reevaluate.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I've been doing amino acids. Like I got this powder, and it's got like mocha, and you can get it in chocolate, I think too. But just aminos instead of the protein powders because
Like
I
branch
wasn't.
chain, like BCAAs.
Yeah, I wasn't getting. I don't know. I just didn't feel great when I was taking my protein shakes. A little bloated at times, but that's just probably me changing, right?
Yeah. And, I like that you brought that up because I know that my protein that I really like that I have that I use to make those shakes, it's got BCAAs in it. It's like protein and BCAAs. It's got a bunch of other stuff in there too. If any of you guys are watching this and you don't really work out, like, and you don't know all this stuff, BCAAs or branch chain amino acids are basically like the building blocks of different proteins. And the reason why we even need protein in the first place is it's literally what your cells are physically made out of. Like if you think of like a building, like a skyscraper, it's made up of what? Steel and concrete, right? And of course, a lot of other little things. But like, if you think of your body as like a skyscraper, well, protein is the steel and the concrete that's making that up. And so that's why you need protein or BCAAs, especially after working out. At least that's my understanding of it. I'm not a freaking expert. I just drink the stuff because other experts tell me to and
Yeah.
keep the things that they say.
Yeah, the work's done for you. Um, but yeah, there's something like I think 8 branch chain amino acids. I think there's 22 in all, but 8 that you need after workout.
Yeah, that's more than I know. I just know that amino acids good. Take them.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I think this was an interesting episode. I didn't intend to go into like quitting vaping and how that's been playing out for me. And but
yeah.
yeah, I think
That's
hope
cool. Very good though, Ron, for you. And the good thing is, I think that you're gonna start really feeling good in another week or two, and you'll be like, "Wow, what a difference!"
yeah, I can't wait to see how like my surfing improves. Like
Yeah,
breath holding and like how like being able to like operate efficiently because I'm like actually using more oxygen because my lungs are working better. So that'll be really cool because I
That
was
could be
out there
interesting.
and pushing myself, not operating at full capacity, like hitting my
Yeah.
vape, putting it in the car, and then getting out in the water, getting out of the water, like still soaking wet with my wetsuit all wet, unlock the car, reach in there, try not to get anything wet, get the vape, like, okay.
Wow. Yeah. And that'll do it. You'll have all your addictions conquered.
Except for caffeine, still have this one, but I'm okay
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
No big deal.
Yep. Yeah, I think this was a cool episode. If you guys want to check out any of our other stuff, just click on you can click the subscribe button. It should be on the screen right now, somewhere around here. We have a playlist up there with all of the videos that Brian and I have done together. And then there's another thing, a video that YouTube has specifically said that you would like, best video for you. That's also on the screen right now. And yeah, if you like this stuff, make sure you subscribe, like the video. That would be cool because it just helps YouTube send this video out to more people that it thinks would like it. If you don't like the video, you don't have to do any of that stuff.
We probably already lost those people.
If you made it this far, it's like, come on, like even if you don't want to admit it, it's like you stayed for a reason. Just like the thing.
Even if you don't want to tell anyone you like it.
Yeah, no one will know. The likes are anonymous. It's okay.
Man.
But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Hey Ron, real quick before you leave, how are the fires doing in California?
I mean, I think they're doing better.
Do you guys see the smoke from where you are?
We had a bunch of smoke on Wednesday because there was a new fire on Wednesday
Yeah,
last week.
yeah.
Oh, it's funny. Now, me saying all this stuff is on the screen, it's not, it's going to be on the screen now. They'll see it, if they stick around. So, but I don't really know. I'm like, it rained last night and yesterday
Good.
all over the place. So it's like, I'm not even concerned anymore. I'm like, cool, it rained. Now you guys can hopefully get it under control. And yeah, but there's nothing going on near me, at least that I know of. I stopped looking because it was like it was an incessant thing where it's like, oh, I can look and look. There's this fire and it's this close, and this one that's this close, and it's like, all right, I'm starting to treat this like the news now. Like if I need to go somewhere, like they'll tell me, my phone will ring even when it's on silent and be like, you need to get up out of there, and I will. But when it's not doing that, I could just live my life and
Yeah, right on, right on.
Yeah, I noticed one last Wednesday because I was driving back from school. My school is near LA. It's actually in LA County. So, and this fire started when I was in class, and it grew to like I think 8,000 acres, or maybe it was 3,000 acres or something like that, within like an hour and a half.
Wow,
Like
that's
from no fire
incredible.
to like 3,000 acres, but it was in a rural area. And I was driving back halfway through the drive on the freeway. It's 2 p.m. and it looks like it's nighttime because all the smoke was blowing over the area where the freeway was going through. We weren't near the fire, but all the smoke was just going west towards the ocean and crossing over the freeway. And probably for a good 20, 30 minutes of the freeway, it was nighttime. It was like, this is insane. Everything was like dark orange, but it was 2 in the afternoon.
Freaky.
And the whole time I was like, is it going to be like this by my house? But after a while, we drove through it, and then it wasn't as smoky, but there was still like ash raining on the house. Like it looked like little. It wasn't collecting, but like I got out of the car and I can see it falling on the car. I was like, oh, let me just go inside and not breathe this stuff in.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, haven't experienced that in a while. Did once when I was in Japan because we had a volcano go explode. I was a couple hours away from Tokyo, and there was ash raining all over everything, and that was kind of crazy. But that's a story for another podcast.
Right on.
You got to tune in next week to hear about that one.
All right, Ron. Hey, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, Ryan. See you guys.